The NRL has always been a showcase for ridiculous talent. But some players make the field look smaller and the rules feel optional. Speed that bends pursuit angles, power that deletes tackles, instinct that turns half chances into game breakers. These are the biggest freaks of nature in the NRL, from active stars to recent icons who changed how the game is played. Before you can talk freaks of nature, you start in the middle where games are won. Here is the benchmark. Payne Haas. At around 194 centimetres and roughly 118 kilos, Payne Haas doesn't just win contact, he wins time. Every carry is a tax on your defensive line. Every quick play, the ball steals meters and ties in a defender. You think you have him squared, and he still finds late footwork, leg drive, and a clean release. Defenders hit and slide off, markers reset, and he is already up ready to go again. He plays huge minutes without dropping intensity, which is terrifying because most middles fade. Haas keeps humming. Win contact, win the clock, set the tone for everyone else. Regular nights near 200 run meters, 30 plus tackles with high efficiency, repeat efforts that drag a set downfield in 3 plays. He does starter minutes at a finisher's pace, and that breaks teams in the final quarter. If Haas is the engine that never stops, Tromololo's the bulldozer that built the highway. Jason Tromololo. Standing about 191 centimetres and around 113 kilos, Jason Tromololo redefined what a forward could do with the ball. Not just power through the line, but stay balanced through contact and turn shoulders at full tilt. When his hips are square and the line is moving, he doesn't fall to the ground so much as he drags the ground with him. You can load the middle and you still see jerseys bouncing. He forces defenders to commit early, which opens your edges and makes halves panic. He is proof that raw mass can be elegant when the footwork is right. Peak season stacked with 200 plus meters a game and top-tier post-contact yardage. Drives early sets like a kick returner and finishes like a prop on the try line. When he is on, your whole defensive plan shrinks by 10 meters. Brute force through the line is one thing. Brute force with soft hands is another. Enter the giant that bends physics. Nelson Asafa Solomona. At a towering 200 centimeters and roughly 130 kilos, Nelson is the moment you remember size is not an idea. It is a collision. He can carry 3 in traffic and still bump a pass out the back like a 5/8. On good ball sets, he compresses the middle by himself, then punishes the scramble with a short tip or a late offload. You think you have numbers, then he delays contact half a step and the line caves in. He turns sets into chaos and chaos into Melbourne momentum. The strangest part is how quickly he gets moving for a man that big. Lead offload rates for a middle, high tackle bust counts, and momentum carries that flip field position in 2 rucks. When Melbourne stacks him with shape, you can see entire defensive lines take a breath and regret it. From collision fear to pure speed, now watch the game stretch to breaking point. Josh Addo-Carr. Listed near 183 centimetres and around 88 kilos, Josh Addo-Carr makes space feel like a runway. He breaks the camera frame. Defenders take the safe angle and still end up grabbing air. Give him grass and a half step, and the set becomes a highlight. His presence forces defensive lines to sit wider and deeper, which buys room for everyone inside him. Speed is a tactic. He proves it every touch. Top-end speed's among the fastest recorded in the comp and a strike rate that punishes even half chances. On a turnover ball, he is a siren. Everyone knows what is coming and nobody gets there in time. Speed kills in the open field. But some players could do it any way they wanted. This was the prototype. Greg Inglis. At roughly 195 centimetres and around 106 kilos, Greg Inglis did not run. He glided. He could stiff arm a front rower, step a half, or jump and catch like a high jumper. Put him at fullback and he terrorised kick chasers. Slide him to centre and he bullied edges. In the big moments, he never rushed. He waited for a defender to blink, then ended the discussion. A freak is not just physical, it's emotional control under floodlights. Inglis had that in spades. Long stretches of games where every kick return felt like a threat, and try involvements that shaped entire campaigns. He carried like a prop, finished like a winger, and called the moment like a half. If Inglis made moments, Semi turned half chances into tries. Same terror, new postcode. Semi Radradra. Around 186 centimeters and roughly 102 kilos, Semi Radradra played wing like a power forward. He didn't need perfect shape. Give him a sliver and he ripped a lane open with stride length and shoulder drive. 2-on-1s became 2-on-none because contact never stopped his feet. Early in sets he gave you free exits. Late in sets he gave you try-line violence. When he shifted codes, you saw the same thing. Power that travels. Try scoring tyres that forced defences to overstack his side and early set carries that routinely won yardage battles. You could hear stadiums inhale when the ball swung to him with a mismatch. Power on the wing is scary. Power with finesse on the edge is a nightmare for halves. Here is the skyscraper. Viliami Cacao. At about 195 centimeters and close to 118 kilos, Viliami Cacao lives in the space between a half's fear and a center's desperation. Too big for one, too quick for two. He runs a tramline, sells a decoy, then becomes the primary option on the next play. He doesn't just crash, he offloads, he tips, he delays the catch to mess with timing and draw a third defender. That means your 7 is thinking about survival, not shape. Once a back rower makes playmakers look small, the whole edge tilts. Top-tier line break involvement for an edge forward, consistent try contributions, second phase plays that keep sets alive after contact. He turns lead runners into live threats and live threats into points. You can double an edge and still lose a tackle. Then there's the guy who beats the tackle and outruns your cover. David Fifita. Sitting near 186 centimeters and around 107 kilos, David Fifita is the cheat code everyone argued about. Put him on a short side and the defense goes quiet for a second because they know the script and it still might not matter. He bounces contact without losing pace. He squares hips then angles late. If you jam, he throws the fend. If you sit, he steps through a gap that was not really there. Most forwards pick power or speed. He uses both in the same movement. League-leading tackle bust seasons and stretches where he scored like a centre while carrying like a prop. He makes left edge defenders look nervous before the ball even clears the ruck. When the edges start panicking, the middle feels it next. Tino Fa'asamalawe. At roughly 197 centimeters and around 115 kilos, Tino doesn't need stats to tell his story. You can feel it in the ruck. He's the captain who changes the temperature of a set with one carry or one tackle that leaves studs in the turf. He straightens your sets, fixes your retreat, and lets your halves think. He is a meter eater who also whacks blokes in contact and gets up smiling. A freak is not always a viral clip. Sometimes it's the guy who makes everyone else braver. Consistent 150-plus meter games, strong contact numbers, and leadership moments that swing momentum without a scoreboard yet moving. He's the reason a side believes it can go set for set with anyone. Tempo can drain a team. Aura can silence one. Some players shift mood in a stadium with one touch. Latrell Mitchell. Listed near 193 centimeters and roughly 102 kilos, Latrell Mitchell plays with gravity. He can flatten a defender with a hip, float a pass a fraction late to hold a winger, and kick with enough length on restarts or when he wants to flip the field position. On kick returns, he picks a body, hits the accelerator, then dares the line to stop him before he gets the offload away. He has the rare ability to slow a moment down in attack. That is why big games tilt his way. Aura is real. You can hear it when a crowd goes quiet at the catch. Elite try involvement rates for a fullback center hybrid and momentum plays that turn sets into points in one touch. Watch the body language of defenders when he sweeps behind shape. Heads turn and feet stutter. Plans look neat on a whiteboard. These athletes tear the board in half. Defending these plays isn't just physical, it's mental. You start a set thinking about percentages, and by the third ruck, you're thinking about self-preservation. Markers creep an extra half step. Lines stagger. The inside shoulder that should be firm starts to drift. Small errors multiply because energy is gone and fear is present. That is the effect. A freak of nature is not just the highlight you see later. It's the Tide reads 4 plays after the highlight because someone punched a hole in your lungs. Freaks of nature change how the game is played and how it's coached. They force new shapes, create new cover rules, and make defenders feel very human on national television. That is why we watch. That is why we argue. That is why a single carry can live in your head for a decade. So who is your number one freak of nature in the NRL right now? Drop your pick and your reason below. And if you want more stories that mix highlights and history, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We post once a month across NRL and Rugby.